everybody. It's Friday. And it's time for your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast. Realty expert John Brodeen back in the studio today, and we're going to be talking with John in just a minute.
Look, if you want that home, let's go get you that home. And it's okay to feel a little nervous. Or to not know what to look for. Because our network agents have the expertise to take the scary out of buying a home. Well, most of it. Now, let's go get you home.
All right, and we are back. John Brodeen, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Big plans for the weekend?
I'm gonna save my energy up.
You're going to Nashville next week.
Yeah.
So you're just going to chill all weekend, or are you going to go to the gym all weekend?
Go to the gym, then chill.
Okay.
Yeah. Saturday's my big day. That's one of my favorite days. So.
Oh, yeah. Your favorite day at the gym, Saturday?
Yeah. Hey, I'm super close with everybody there, so it's like getting to see my friends,
Sure.
you know?
Sure. Everybody gets to go there on a Saturday because everybody's got different work schedules and all that stuff. You don't just lay on the couch and watch college football, do you?
I do that up until the gym, and then I do that after the gym. Then I order some takeout. So that's the schedule.
Perfect day for a Saturday.
Yeah.
The seasons are changing. I mean, this past week, we have gone from crazy warm on Monday to, on last night, it was crazy cold.
Yep.
That means the seasons are changing. That means winter is coming. And that means all these little projects, your winterization and your things to get ready for winter have been getting put off all year. Let's talk a little bit about that, about what a guy needs to do, and especially if you're trying to sell your home, but what should somebody do to be prepared for the harsh winters we have here in the tundra?
Yeah, so taking care of your home before the winter is super, super important. One of the things you want to do, especially if you have like wood windows and wood trim around your doors and that sort of thing, is caulk and paint so your wood is completely sealed. Because that wood, if water gets into it, especially during the winter, it's going to cause that wood to deteriorate really fast. Cracks in the concrete, you don't want moisture getting into small hairline cracks in the concrete because it's the winter time when it's going to freeze and make those cracks expand.
Yes.
So sealing up those cracks in your concrete driveway and in your garage too are going to be really important. Check your drainage around the foundation. You don't want water near your foundation and freezing and expanding and all that kind of thing.
Yep.
So check your drainage, fill low spots with some soil, make sure all your downspout extensions are attached, clean your gutters, especially like after all the leaves have fallen off the trees so that you do have good drainage. That'll be great, especially when the snow melts, because you don't want a water problem when the ground is completely saturated in the spring when all the snow's melting.
So far, just what you have mentioned, I'm guilty of not doing either. I just put all new windows in last fall. I haven't caulked all of the trim around the windows yet, but I've got a lot of them done.
Yeah.
Just put a new roof on. Haven't got my gutters back up. I should have just called you a month ago and said, John, remind me what I need to do. But
sounds like the honey-do list. Yeah.
There's a lot more though for winter around here.
Yeah, certainly. So if you have a wood fireplace, get your chimney cleaned and inspected. Make sure all that's looking good. Test your CO and smoke detectors. Your likelihood of having a fire is definitely higher during the winter.
Sure.
So you want to make sure that all your CO and smoke detectors are working properly. Usually you want to have a smoke detector in each bedroom and a CO detector, CO smoke combo in like your main common areas on each floor. So if you have a sprinkler system, you want to drain it and winterize it.
Yep.
Your exterior water spigots, make sure that those are drained and shut off as well. You don't want those to freeze because that could actually burst a pipe.
Yeah, you should actually unhook your hose, which, again, I don't do.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, this is all the stuff everyone should be doing. But the number of people, even if you just do a few of them, you're better off than a lot of people. So
Yeah.
In the earlier fall, when it starts to cool down a little bit, it's actually a good time to fertilize your lawn.
Oh, yeah.
Because your grass doesn't grow when it's extremely hot or extremely cold. So
And we saw that this summer.
Yeah, right. Spring and fall are good times to do this. Trim away your trees away from your house so pests can't crawl up on your roof and make sure you don't have any like holes that pests could get in your roof vents or your soffits, gutters, all that kind of space, because
They're looking for a warm place.
They're looking for a warm place. And if you've ever had a squirrel in your attic,
Oh, yeah.
there isn't many more things that are that annoying.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Live in a log house.
Yeah.
With wood, everything. The biggest issue I've had, no red squirrels getting in anywhere, but a woodpecker actually knocked a hole about this round in my soffit.
Oh, really?
Because it's
In your
wood.
soffit?
Yeah, so I had to take a piece of plywood and just staple over it a little bit. But
I've had that too. I've got cedar batten siding, and I've caught a couple woodpeckers like hammering away at it.
yeah.
No.
And I think they're protected. So
Yeah, you're probably not supposed to shoot them, I guess.
no, I don't think you are.
We won't talk about that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So making sure pests can't get in. It's also a good time to set up some mouse traps earlier in the fall. Like August is usually when the hornets get really, or the yellow jackets or whatever they are, get really bad. So that's a good time to put out some traps for that. There's usually, if there's a spot where they're getting in, they usually try to find a spot where there's a little crack where they can get in and make a mess. So it's good to catch that early. Put some traps out with, the sugar water that they can get into, but they can't get out of. And if there is a spot where they're getting in, it's a good place to put some of that dust.
Yep.
I can't remember the name of it for the life of me.
Yeah, but they also have the spray too, the wasp and hornet killer.
Yeah, like
I go through a couple of those every year.
Yeah. That's a good idea. That's earlier. And then when you're done mowing and you're done using all your lawn tools, it's a good idea to use up all the rest of the gas in there. You don't want that gas sitting in there all year long.
Or put an additive in it, because gasoline is junk nowadays. I know that firsthand.
Yeah. So, and you have a rural home. So is there anything that I live in town.
You've hit on, this is the time when we get mice, start to have mice come around, and especially in the spring too for us, because when the water comes up, they have nowhere to go.
Use sticky traps and like peanut butter or something like that.
I get the old school mouse traps, and I just use that with a little bit of like cheese. The
Cheese
spray,
whiz.
cheese whiz, a little bit of that. But another thing that you talked about was like cracked concrete and stuff. I was a concrete guy for a long time.
Yeah.
And I would pour driveways or garage slabs, and people would say, well, do you guarantee it?
Yeah.
And I say, yeah, I guarantee it'll crack, because it will where we live. Now, that's one thing you people will notice. Maybe in the spring or certain times of the year, the doors don't quite shut right in a certain closet, or you'll see your concrete heaving a little bit. Well, we have a thing around here, people, called frost, and it messes everything up. And especially when the concrete, if you got a little bit of a heave there and it's a sidewalk or something, and say maybe we got some fresh snow, you haven't got to shovel it yet, that's just an accident waiting to happen, and it could get you in trouble.
Yeah. I have the similar thing where in the center of my house, there's a wall between my kitchen and my living room that in the winter, there's a crack that forms by the ceiling. And then in the spring and summer, it goes away.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that, the frost pushes my foundation up or something on the sides.
Yep.
Or whatever. And so is that something what I probably should get done is get that header screwed to the rafter.
It might make a difference. Yeah. And the winter toys, we'll call them, which to me is a four-wheeler with a plow on it and all of this kind of stuff. But you hit that with the fuel. Boy, you either got to put some stabilizer in there, some additive or whatever, or drain them. Or I have a friend that actually fills them all the way plump full, because that way you have no air, which means you have no condensation, which means you have no water.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But there's a million things you could do.
Yeah. You see everybody always running their mower dry at the end of the fall, and getting the snowblower out, making sure it works. The other thing is getting your furnace checked up on.
Oh, sure.
Because it's a lot better to find out something's going on with your furnace in October than January or February.
Yeah, and another thing, automatically, if you haven't done it, because a lot of people tend to not do it in the summer, is get that new filter in there right off the bat. Give it a good test run, but like you said, especially if your furnace is a few years old, most of these heating and AC companies, they offer discounts or deals just to come and have your furnace looked at and checked out. It's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the time to be doing that when your heat goes out in February and it's 30 below. So, another thing that people should do in the winter is make sure that they don't have that their exhaust vents on their furnace aren't getting plugged up by ice. This is more of a December, January thing. But that can be a common thing, especially if you have a lot of snowfall around it.
Yep.
And what happens there is then the exhaust has nowhere to go and goes back to the CO detectors in your house. But you don't want that exhaust coming back in.
Right. And another thing too, if your house starts to smell like rotten eggs, well, it could be your vent from your toilets.
Oh yeah.
And those do tend to freeze up because they come out of the roof. I think all I got to do is just get up there and dump a bunch of hot water down there or something. But that's a very common thing.
Yeah, I have. I've heard of that happening quite a bit actually. And it's the vent that goes all the way out your roof, like you said.
Yep.
I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, we just always call them toilet vents. I don't know.
Yeah, and so basically it must make it so like the P trap or the S trap doesn't function properly since air can't get in.
Well, you ever notice sometimes on a really windy day how it looks like your water in your toilet is kind of moving a little bit?
Oh, sure, that's
actually wind coming through the vent all the way down to the toilet.
That's interesting.
I suppose it has something to do with being able to make it flush, things like that.
Yeah,
so.
I suppose for water to go down, something has to.
Yeah.
There has to be air that's being able to go down as well. Just like dumping out a water bottle, it's got to go. Glug.
Yeah. Thank goodness you're a realty expert and I'm a video podcast guy because we sound like a couple of dummies talking about plumbing here.
Yeah. I'll be the first to admit I'm not the most handy person ever, but I've got a good list of contractors I can call.
and all of this stuff that you have talked about, it's all easy stuff to do. But it's necessary.
Yeah.
I tell you what, when you talk about, just a little bit of caulking around your windows and things like that, when it's one of these 50 below zero wind chill days and you can feel the breeze coming through, a good idea to do is just take a candle, go around your windows on a windy day, and you'll see where they need to be caulked.
Sure.
Anything to save money in the winter because, well, let's face it, natural gas has gone way up.
Yep.
I would imagine fuel oil has gone way up. Electricity, who knows what that's going to be like this winter, but it's never cheap to live here in the winter.
No, it's not. The other thing, I guess, I have to do this year because when they did my kitchen, I had soffits, so a lot of insulation fell out when they removed the soffits.
Sure.
And so I need to add insulation up to my attic. If your house isn't very energy efficient, it's a good idea to go up there and measure and see how much insulation you actually have. And you don't want there to be spots where it's missing. Which is the reason I have to get more this year. So,
Well, that's one good thing I don't have to worry about is insulation.
Yeah.
I have zero. The only thing that's insulated in my house are the basement walls.
Really?
That's it.
Is your attic exposed then?
There's no attic.
There's no attic.
I live in a log house.
So there's not a 2-foot area? Oh, really? Interesting.
Nope. It's just, you got about that much room, I suppose, between the interior and the exterior.
Sure.
So, there might be a little bit of insulation in the roof, but none in the walls.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, when buyers are looking for a home, they're looking for a home that's been well maintained. So doing all this stuff is just part of being a homeowner. If you fail to do this stuff, your home is gonna, the lifespan on those different elements in your home is gonna suffer. So it's part of making those things last, and it's part of taking good care of your home so one day you are able to sell it for what it's actually worth.
That's what I found out when I put new windows in my house. The windows that were put in when it was built, they did a crappy job of installing them.
Okay.
Didn't caulk anything, didn't hardly insulate anything, and the water was leaking on the inside of them where you couldn't see it. And it started to rot out the logs on the bottom of the windows on my north side. So I had to cut out a whole 7-inch log.
You did.
And put a bigger window in just to get rid of the rot. I mean, what a nightmare.
When you've got wood, the biggest enemy is condensation in water. That's
and sun.
Never a good comment. Yeah.
Especially your toys, you leave them outside, like my four-wheeler. Well, the seat's all cracked up and stuff. People are like, well, it's from the snow and rain. And no, it's not. It's the sun.
Yeah,
the sun just destroys stuff.
That's true.
But you got to get your house ready for winter.
Yep, you do. It's part of being a homeowner up here. So it's stuff that will pay off. It's a little extra work, but if you do it every year, it's not as much work as it's going to be to have to replace this stuff.
Yeah.
Or the next buyer having to replace this stuff and giving you a crappy offer because they know they're going to have to replace everything.
Sure. John Brodeen, realty expert. How do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, 701-213-5428. That's my cell phone number. You can call or text me if you have any questions. If you want to become a client, you're looking at buying or selling this spring, this fall, give me a call.
Thank you very much, John. And again, some of the things that John mentioned, maybe if you can't do them on your own, get a hold of Executive Properties. They're going to get that house ready for you to buy or sell or just live through the winter. Call them up, 701-330-1273, or go to executiveproperties.org. And they're also looking to hire some help, all right? John Brodeen, you have a good time out in Nashville, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I expect pictures.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
get some. We'll have a
All
good
right.
time.
Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. There you go, your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast. We'll be back again on GFBS with these guys on Wednesday. Have a great weekend.